NASCAR has tons of weird moments and just weird races as a whole. And for me, as a young kid, the first real weird race that I remember was the 2007 3M Performance 400, the second Michigan race of that season. And setting up this race, you could honestly look at the June race maybe, where Carl Edwards won and broke a year-and-a-half-long winless streak. I was there, and it was scorching hot in the grandstands. This would not be the case in August, though. On the Sunday that the race was planned to be run, we got a wash of rain. No biggie, Monday races are semi-normal in NASCAR, and this would be no different, right? Well, you know what's a bit more difficult on everybody? When it rains on Monday as well. So for me, it was incredibly weird for the first time seeing a race postponed to Tuesday. And it wasn't just my first time, as according to Rusty Wallace, it was the first time a rain delay had pushed a race to Tuesday ever in NASCAR. It was also weird seeing Michigan, which could hold 150,000 at the time, only having an estimated 40,000 watching in person. For a 2000s NASCAR race, this was alien. And speaking of looking alien, the rain may have moved out, but in its place was a huge amount of fog that made it look like an alien planet. The year before, NASCAR had raced in the fog and missed at Daytona for the Daytona 500. It actually was the most watched NASCAR race ever. But this was much more reminiscent of Pocono in 2016. But they were in a bind because the next race would be the Bristol night race that coming Saturday. Many team members and drivers had to be ready to go or there in a day or two, so NASCAR used an older practice that rarely gets used today, a green-yellow start.
Now, we told you a moment ago they are going to wave the green, but also the yellow. Green flag and yellow, so they will stay side by side. And as a driver, Rusty, I think you've got to applaud some of this a little bit because of the fact that what they're trying to do is help get the track completely dry without moisture.
Well, Jerry, that's exactly right. There's some moisture spots on the racetrack, but not many. They could probably go green right now, and I expect this is going to happen real shortly, but
the mist around the track kept a little precipitation on it, but not too bad. It was the fog that was still too much for spotters. And because of that, the cars will be brought down pit road for a red flag. NASCAR deemed that due to the low visibility, the race just could not go green yet. But after days and then 12 laps of yellow and red flag conditions, it was finally time to go green at Michigan.
Well, you heard our in-race reporter, Greg Biffle, say he wanted to try to get the jump on Jeff Gordon to get those precious 5 points, and he got it because you might not be able to get them later, but he's got it right now. And everybody looks like they're settled in and everything's smooth right now, Andy.
Of course, it was too good to last, though, as the 4201 Pablo Montoya caused the first yellow after less than 2 laps of green flag conditions. But they were able to race after a short time. Greg Biffle would run ahead with the lead while the field behind him would race among each other. Even after NASCAR's short competition yellow, the stars of the Cup Series were still able to race into a very long run. Going past the quarter-way mark, the dominant drivers of the season, the 24 of Jeff Gordon and the 48 of Jimmy Johnson, those Hendrick Chevys, were leading and running in the top 5, though they had a bit of a different look for this race. Usually at this time, the Chevrolets would have the 2007 Monte Carlo SS model for the Gen 4. And since the 2006 NASCAR rebrand, the SS was probably one of the best looking cars they'd had in a long time, with a mean, sleek look to it that ran fast as hell too. But this race was noticeably different for a number of high-profile Chevy drivers. With it being 2007, GM wanted to celebrate their historic 57 Chevy. So the decals would be changed on the nose and rear end to resemble the way that the 57 Chevy looked. Same goes for the side of the cars and For some cars, like the DEI ones, even the tops of them would look different than their normal paint schemes. Still, even with the odd and some may even say ugly designs, the Chevys were bad fast, and through green flag pit stops, 7 of the top 10 cars were Chevys as they approached halfway. But after a quick yellow on lap 89, the calm feel of the race would again be momentarily shaken.
Harvick makes the pass.
But I must say, too, that two of the best drivers out there, really great drivers.
Trouble off the turn 55. Michael Waltrip across the racetrack. Great effort by Ryan Newman to get by all.
Out there, boys.
And almost all got by there. Looked like maybe it was Joe Nemechek caught the left front of the 55 of Michael Waltrip.
Now, while the setting of the race and the look of many of the cars were different after this, the middle of the race would resemble a normal Michigan race, at least for the time being, with long drawn-out runs like a 77-lap green flag run. For the most part, the only action were clean passes and light brushes against the outside wall. But even the normal occurrences of mid-2000s NASCAR would shake this race up even more. After being a long-run race, it would turn into a dash to the finish. Kurt Busch would lead Jeff Gordon and Dave Blaney, of all people, with 20 to go. But this wouldn't be it for the day. As with 10 to go, ESPN2 would come back from commercial to Jeff Gordon's number 24 car stuck in the grass and mud.
Back at Michigan International Speedway, Jeff Gordon's car has spun and is stuck in the wet grass and muddy area here in the along the front straightaway. Bring out caution number 6 on the day. Torrential rains the last 2 days couldn't get the car to move in the mud. Now safety crews are pushing him back on the racetrack. All right.
Whether it was intentional or not, many would be reminded of the 2006 Chicagoland race, where Jeff Gordon would spin Matt Kenseth from the lead at the race's finish. This would be odd for 2007, though, as it would be one of only 6 races that year that Jeff Gordon failed to finish in the top 10, and it would be his second worst finish of the year, 27th. But the race trudged on with 7 to go. Kurt Busch put a good distance between himself and second place Martin Truex Jr., but again, this race could never have a normal ending.
Comes low. Greg Biffle gets into the back of Kyle Busch and loses.
Biffle spins sideways.
Yeah, they're back up. Still coming at you. Still coming at you. You're good. Everybody's getting loaded up now. Get her going when you can.
The race that could never start now could never end. And, of course, it'd have to end with Michigan's first ever green-white checkered finish.
Power of Truex just a little bit, but right now Kurt Busch just, see you later, dude, I'm out of here.
11 car way up across the top of the racetrack, all the way up near the wall, but the 17 slides right up in front of him. He is reeling in the 17 car. That is for the 4th position.
And he's just got to say, working the top side of the track, guys. That's where he's been the strongest. And see him run up on the bumper of the 17. That's the only chance he's got. He just seems like he can't get it done on the bottom. And as Kurt Busch now is just driving off. Just that time, definitely quicker than Mark Truex that very last lap. So.
Kurt Busch, a 28-year-old driver from Las Vegas, Nevada. He broke a 51-race winless streak at Pocono just 3 weeks ago. Kurt Busch comes down in dominating fashion and wins at Michigan.
After a tough start to the season with mostly self-inflicted wounds, Kurt Busch's comeback that year would be complete. With 3 races left till NASCAR's playoffs, the chase, he would have more than a full race's worth of points between he and 13th place Dale Earnhardt Jr. But a weird-looking race with a weird setting finally was over. There wouldn't really be another race at Michigan that was not run on Sunday until 2019, and there wouldn't be the settings this weird as this race was through almost probably 15 years. Yes, you had a Tuesday race at Atlanta in 2011, but that was more of a historical race, and while it was weird to race on a Tuesday, it didn't have as many weird things as this one did. Though, interestingly enough, it did lead into another Saturday night race, this time at Richmond. But it wouldn't be until the pandemic hit, nearly 15 years later, that we'd see something this weird. Wednesday and Thursday races would be run to make up for COVID cancellations, but the king of rain-delayed races since this wouldn't come until late 2020, where at Texas Motor Speedway, the field made about 50 laps on Sunday before being delayed until Wednesday night because of mist for the last 280 or so laps. But for being the first race in NASCAR history to be rain delayed to a Tuesday, this was a pretty damn weird one. So now I want to pass this on to you and ask, what is the weirdest race you've ever watched? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're at it, leave a like on this video, share this video, and subscribe to this channel for more great NASCAR content. Thank you so much to all my channel members for your continued support, and until next time, have a good one.